Hello and welcome to NBA Talk with Jordan Valdez. First things first, as always, we got today's matchups. Our first matchup is Antawn Jamison versus Andre Blatche. Antawn Jamison is a small forward, power forward for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's been injured a lot, but he's been an All-Star a couple times. He played with LeBron James last season. It was a midseason trade. He's a pretty good player. He's not great. He's about as good as Baron Davis and Mo Williams and those guys, except a forward. And Andre Blatche is a power forward for the Washington Wizards. I think he's at about the same skill level, and that's why I'm picking to compare him in today's matchup with Antawn Jamison. He's a very good player. He's at that same kind of level. He can do a lot for the Wizards. Really, I think that once Rashard Lewis isn't injured anymore, they're going to use him a bit more than Andre Blatche. But Andre Blatche can be very good at times, and he can be very valuable to their team. I'm going to give this matchup to Antawn Jamison, just because he's had more experience. Kind of playing on good teams. He played with Cleveland, obviously. They were the best team in the league that year. However, they didn't make it past Boston in the playoffs that year. So I'm going to give this matchup to Antawn Jamison. Our second matchup is Paul Pierce versus Blake Griffin. Now, I know they don't play the same positions, but I felt that they were still comparable. Paul Pierce, he's a small forward shooting guard. Blake Griffin, he's just pretty much a power forward. Blake Griffin, really all he can do is dunk, but Paul Pierce can drive. Paul Pierce can shoot. I'm not impressed with Blake Griffin, to be honest with you, because I don't think he has much talent other than being able to dunk. But I think that Paul Pierce does a lot more for Boston than Blake Griffin does for the Clippers. All Blake Griffin does really is sell tickets. I don't think you saw, even though they had him on their team, that still didn't make them that much better than they were the year before. Even though he even has help. He has Mo Williams and Eric Gordon and Chris Kaman now, and even DeAndre Jordan's developing into a pretty good player. But even so, Blake Griffin, he might be their best player. He still couldn't get them much better than they were last year. So I'm going to give this matchup to Paul Pierce. He's been playing for Boston for his entire career. He's led them to a championship. He's been an all-star numerous times, so I'm going to give this matchup to Paul Pierce. Now, the 2011 NBA Draft, that is tonight at 7:30 p.m. on ESPN, and I'm going to give you my top three, who I predict to go 1, 2, and 3 in the draft. Cleveland obviously has the first overall pick. I do expect them to pick Kyrie Irving. I don't think this is the best option. Kyrie didn't play enough. If he stayed in college, this would only be his sophomore year, and he was injured for most of his freshman year, so I don't think he's ready for the NBA yet. But I do expect Cleveland to pick them. I do predict to pick him. I do predict that they will pick him. Minnesota has the second overall pick. I predict them to pick Enes Kanter, the Turkish center. I think it might be the best talent in the NBA draft this year. There's a lack of good centers in the league right now, and I think he could really be good in this league. And then Utah has the third overall pick, and I predict them to pick Derek Williams from Arizona, the forward from Arizona. I think he'll be the third overall pick. Now here's an NBA headline. Steven Jackson has been traded to the Milwaukee Bucks today. The Bucks it was a 3-team trade, and the Bucks are set to receive Bino Udrih, Steven Jackson, obviously, and Sean Livingston, plus the 19th pick in the draft today from the Charlotte Bobcats. The Bobcats, in exchange for Steven Jackson, they will get the 7th pick from the Kings, and the Milwaukee Bucks forward Corey Maggette will now be on the Bobcats, and Sacramento will get John Salmons from the Bucks and the 10th pick in the draft tonight. Yes, so this was very interesting news today. Very exciting trade for all three of those franchises. It's a pretty big deal. Steven Jackson is a pretty talented player, and so to see him move, that's a big deal. And Bino Udrih and Sean Livingston and Corey Maggette and John Salmons, they're all pretty decent players as well. So this was a pretty big trade in the NBA. That's at the top of the headlines, I guess, right now. So thought I'd notify everyone about that. Thank you for watching NBA Talk with Jordan Valdez, and I will see you next time.